How come it's April already? Like, how come? Like, the year literally started 2 days ago and we're in April already. Like, time flies. So I'm so excited to be back doing a Letterboxd wrap up from the series and movies that I watched. I was not able to do this in February because I didn't have enough time, but I'm really excited to show all of the series and movies that I've been watching because I've watched tons of new stuff that I'm so excited to share with all of you. And just welcome back to another video here on this channel, Royal Horror. Jungle of love. So as you know from my previous Letterboxd wrap-up videos that I've done, I separate the series and the movies, and at the same time I separate them into different categories depending on the stars that I gave. And we're gonna start with the series that I watched. So the first series that I watched is I finished season 4 and season 5 from the 100. I love the series so much. I started watching this like last year and I got obsessed, and for me season 4 is perfect. I gave 5 stars out of 5, and to season 5 I get 4 out of 5. So those 2 seasons are beautiful. I love the whole costume design, set design, storyline, characters, the development. The next series that I watched is Control Z season 2, and oh my god, why did I watch these? This season was so unnecessary. I loved the first one, it came out in 2020, but season 2 was so cliche. Nothing happened. The characters, they didn't have any kind of development. Some characters even disappear from the season 1 and they don't explain any reason why. They have so many tropes. Now when it comes to the movies, I also separate them into different categories, and the first category is half star, 1 star, and surprisingly I did not watch and I didn't grade any half star or 1 star movies. So let's just jump directly into 1 star and a half and 2 stars. So when it comes to 1 star and a half, the first movie will be 47 Meters Down, the sequel Under Cage from 2019. Now the first thing that I want to say about this movie is that first of all it's unnecessarily long, and second of all I think it didn't go anywhere. Like, what was the reason to make this film? Just the storyline didn't make any kind of sense, and I know sharks movies sometimes they don't have to make sense, but this was another level because this movie was taking itself way too seriously for what it is. The next 1 star and a half movie is He's Out There from 2018, and oh my god, like if you know me, you know I'm obsessed with home invasion. But this movie is a home invasion horror film, but it's just so annoying. I wanted these characters to die ASAP. Now when it comes to 2 stars, I only have 1 film, and I already did a whole review about it. You can click the link up here, and that's Amma from 2022. This movie came out like literally a week ago. Now when it comes to 2 stars and a half, I will say the first one is The Hot Chick from 2008, a comedian film. And I have to say this movie didn't age well. I think the cinematography in this film is so questionable, but at the same time this just gave me childhood vibes. I remember being obsessed over this film. I laughed so much as a kid, and even now I watch this film like after maybe 9 years and I laughed so hard on some scenes that are so funny. This has a beautiful cast, like they're so iconic. Now the next 2.5 star, and this is a new film, is Deep Water, an Amazon original from 2022. Now I have to say that the main reason why I watched this film is Ben Affleck and Ana de Armas. I think it's worth it, it's entertaining in some levels, but if you're not into dramatic relationships, marriage, this movie is not for you. The next 2 stars and a half is Wrong Turn 2, the sequel from 2008. Now, I have to say that the Wrong Turn franchise for me is not the best one. I only enjoy the first 2 and the reboot from 2021. This sequel is just so entertaining. I think it's one of the most entertaining slashers out there. If you're a gore fan, definitely give this movie a watch. And now the last 2 stars and a half, and this is going to be quite controversial because I had so many discussions with many people from the horror community about this, and that movie will be X, the new film from A24 released in 2022. Now, like I said, I have a full review of this movie and you can click the link up here. When it comes to 3 stars, the first film is the original Wrong Turn from 2003. Now, iconic, one of my favorite slashers of all time, one of my comfort movies of all time. I completely love this film. When it comes also, the next movie will be Oculus from 2013. Now, this was my first time watching this film, I know. I really liked it. I really liked the storyline. I think it was kind of interesting because obviously, even if it follows kind of like some horror tropes, I think the movie knows how to be different. And I really enjoyed the ending. I did not expect in the ending, especially with that character. You know which character I'm talking about. And I think that's why this movie stands out, and I think that's why this movie is a 3 star. The next 3 stars are 2022 releases, and the first one is Fresh. I know. Many people have given this film 4 stars, 5 stars, which like fair enough. I like the lead. I love her. I think she's an amazing actress. I think she did such a good job. I love the antagonist. I think Sebastian did an amazing job as the villain of this film. I love the storyline. I think it's very disturbing, and I love that the movie doesn't need to be too graphic on your face to be disturbing. But the main reason why this movie 3 stars is because the ending is quite cliche. Like, I saw this ending coming from like miles away. It's a bit too long, and also the practical effects, they were quite questionable because it's supposed to be body parts, but they don't feel like, they don't look like, and just some characters are kind of extra in my opinion. The next film, and I'm so excited to talk about this film, is Master from 2022, an Amazon original. And I completely love this film. I think this movie is gorgeous. I think the cinematography is one of the best ones for now that when it comes to 2022 releases. And the main reason why I gave 3 stars is because, again, the storyline feels a little bit cliche, not too much, just a little bit. And I love our lead. I think she's amazing. And also, but apart from her, the side characters are kind of annoying, like I didn't care about them. Obviously they add something to the storyline because of the topic this movie wants to talk about. But overall, I think it's a very, not entertaining, but like serious watch. Like, I think this movie is very, very educational. The next 3 stars will be The Weekend Away, and now I have to say this movie made me want to go to Croatia so bad. Again, I haven't been there in 3 years, and I really like that country. I think it's perfect for your summer vacations if possible. And the main reason why this movie 3 stars, and I really wanted to give this movie like 4 stars, but it's just the storyline feels completely cliche. Like, I feel I've seen this kind of a storyline in other films. Another 3 stars will be The Scream Legacy, a fan film made, and I did a whole review up here. You can click the link up there, and I will leave the link of this fan made film down in the comment section below because I think it's very worth it. Now also in 3 stars will be Red Rocket, a new film, a comedy film, and I have to say that this movie, I really enjoy it. I think this movie knew what it was doing. I love the cinematography. Oh my god, guys. I love this kind of movies. Like, the cinematography of this movie was so gorgeous. Like, I just loved it so much. I really like the characters, even though the storyline is kind of cringy. You will know why. But I love the acting. Everyone did such an amazing job. Everyone. And I think the storyline, even though it drags sometimes, because this movie is like 2 hours and 10 minutes. And the last 3 stars will be My Son from 2021, a James McAvoy film. And one of the things that I want to say about this film is that I'm shocked that this film, the script, was not a script, if that makes sense. Like, James McAvoy, his lines were so natural. Like, I did some like searching about this film, and basically James McAvoy's lines were not scripted, and I completely love the cinematography. I think the show Scotland in such a beautiful way. The soundtrack was beautiful, like the audiography was so good, like you could feel every single detail, from things like a jacket sound to things like when James McAvoy is breathing under the rain, if that makes sense. Now 3.5 and 4 stars. The first 3.5 will be 7500, and this is an Amazon original, and oh my god, this movie was so shocking. Like, I did not expect this movie to be this good. I love when horror films take place in airplanes. This movie is so good, and I love that you really see what the character sees. You don't see something else. what he feels, what he sees is what we feel and what we see. And I really liked when horror movies make me feel that way. I love our lead, and I think the storyline is so scary. Like, I was really scared because it's so realistic. Like, this can happen any second, and I'm sure this has happened in the past. And it just terrifies me because I love going on trips. I've been taking place more often than I used to. And it's just so terrifying because this can actually happen any second, and I don't know what I will do, to be honest. The next 3 stars and a half will be Free Guy, a comedian film, and I have to say that this movie was very entertaining. Like, I didn't expect to be so entertained by this film. And now also Paranormal Activity Next to Kin, the new film from 2021, and I have to say that this movie is gorgeous. This movie looks insane. And to the point that I was kind of like questioned, because this movie is supposed to be a found footage, but it didn't make too much sense that it was a found footage, if that makes sense. But I just didn't mind that because I love the movie that was shot. I love the characters. The storyline is so entertaining. It's one of the best Paranormal Activity storylines. I can't wait to do my ranking. And the last 3.5 will be No Exit, and I did a full review. You can click up here. Great thriller. Now, when it comes to 4 stars, the first film will be The Night House. Oh my god, I completely love this film. I think it was gorgeous. It is very scary. I was very scared about this film. Our lead is amazing. The scares, the jump scares are great. The cinematography is insane. I love how this movie really works with the dark. I think the darkness is such an important character on this film. That brings me to The Batman from 2022, the new release. I'm sure everyone has seen this movie so far. I did a full spoiler-free review up here. Escape Room Tournament of Champions is another 4 stars film. I think it's such a good sequel. I'm such a big fan of these 2 films. And I think this movie is very entertaining. Turning Red, I watched this movie twice. And I have to say, this is one of the best Pixar films ever made. The next 4 stars will be The Rental from 2020, and I absolutely loved it. This has become one of my favorite home invasion films ever. Again, I know I will sound repetitive, but the cinematography is so gorgeous. I completely love the shots. The color scheme in this film is beautiful, and this is a director's debut, and it's like that's so inspirational. Like, I hope in the future I can do something like this because it will be insane. And yeah, and I love the ending, and if you know me, you will know why. And now the only 4 stars and a half will be A Quiet Place Part 2. Completely amazing, such a good sequel. Cinematography is beautiful, audiography is insane. I love the whole difference between our world and this girl's world. And there is no 5 stars film, so that's everything I watched in the month of March. Now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna say my favorite and least favorite series and movies. And it doesn't mean just because a series or movie has a good grade, it means it's my favorite. And my favorite series from March will be The 100 Season 4. Completely amazing. If you're a fan of The 100, you will love this season. And obviously, it's not a secret, the least favorite series from this month will be Control Z Season 2. What was going on? Why did this happen? Just doesn't make sense for me. And when it comes to my least favorite film of March will be He's Out There. And you know the reasons why I do not recommend this film, but maybe give it a watch, I don't know, but I just felt bored the whole time. And my favorite film of March will be 7500. This movie made me feel things that I didn't want to feel while watching this film. And it's because it was so realistic, and I'm obsessed with this film. I wish I could own it, but it's a streaming original. Shame. So that was it. That was everything I watched in the month of March. I'm so happy that I watched many new releases. And if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, give a like, leave a comment, and support me in any way you can. And I will see you in upcoming videos. Let me know what have you watched in the month of March. I would love to see different films or series that I haven't watched yet. And have a nice week, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.